So another interesting insight out of Beacon that we've noticed is despite all the focus that's been on mobile and responsive design, we still see a massive gap between website performance and our client sets between desktop and mobile.
This is Velocitize Talks and I'm Lauren Cox. Today I'm here with Andrew Scott from White Marble Consulting. Hi Andrew.
Hi there.
Welcome. Thank you for being here. So Andrew, what sets White Marble apart from other consulting groups?
Sure, look, White Marble Consulting, we're a specialist marketing consultancy, so that means that we do all of the marketing things you'd expect, like brand, like sustainability work, like articulating of propositions and engagement, and all those sorts of things, but we do it in a very narrow vertical, which is we do it for investment managers, so asset managers and wealth managers in the UK and across into the US.
So you also focus on the user experience. So how would you design something that's true to the user experience?
So most of the work that we do is bigger and beyond, I guess, building of websites. Yeah. So when we think about user experience, we are doing like a really deep dive with these firms to understand what their proposition is, what their purpose is, how they articulate themselves, how they articulate their products. And all of that feeds into understanding then their audiences that they're pitching those at, and then that feeds into the user experience that we want to build digitally for them through the website, through other parts of their marketing technology stack. So I guess for us, UX is all the normal kind of UX sort of rule sets that you would follow, but for us it's a much bigger picture. And so we start off by thinking about the firm, their proposition, their audiences, and then that's what drives the IA, UX and design processes that we go through every single time we build out a website.
Yeah. So is there a project you're working on at the moment that you're really excited about? You're solving an interesting challenge?
So quite a typical project for us, which we do have at the moment, is where we are helping firms to bring together disparate websites. So over time, lots of these large investment managers have organically grown their web real estate, so they've got websites for this and websites for that, different domains. So quite often the work that we might be doing is kind of aggregating all of that, bringing it all together, building a single experience on a single domain typically. And then really, I think excitingly for us is then taking that experience that we've built for the website across all of the rest of their marketing collateral. So a lot of the time we're saying, website done, now let's think about every touch point that your clients and prospects have with you. How do we make that a consistent brand experience?
Yeah. So do you use headless WordPress CMS like Atlas to create that consistent experience?
So a few thoughts on headless and Atlas. In our industry, we're seeing sort of first signs really of folk starting to invest in headless environments, and I think that's a good thing. So that's, but very early days in the investment management industry. It's very early days. So that's one thing. Secondly, we are interested in Atlas because for our benchmarking product, which we might talk about in a sec, it's a really great environment that allows us to uncouple the front-end data and charting experience from, say, back-end content management. But the third thing I was thinking about with headless, though, is that I don't see the point of doing headless websites unless you consider the whole marketing technology stack. So for me, the beauty of uncoupling the front from the back is that gives you an opportunity to build out a really good marketing technology kind of architecture and think about content. In our world, it's content and data are the two sort of primary sort of hubs of content and data. By going down the headless route, you can uncouple, build a great model at the back end for how you manage those things.
Yeah. So you mentioned your data product before. Can you kind of tell me about it?
Sure.
What does it do?
So Beacon is our digital marketing benchmarking product, and what we do is we gather together from our clients that choose to participate all their website analytics, their social media, their email, their search, their site performance, And in particular, we focus on their thought leadership content. So in our world, asset managers churn out a huge amount of thought leadership content on a monthly basis. Yes. So we gather all of that data into a big database, and we process it, and then we play it back to those member firms in terms of benchmarking, so that really they're able to measure what good looks like, in marketing terms, by comparing their digital marketing performance across all of those channels with other firms that look like them, in their geographies.
That's great, thank you. So what are the types of insights that you're really serving up to your clients through Beacon?
So I guess there's probably about three things in particular at the moment that they're really interested in. One is good old email. So despite the imminent death of email for a long time, people are still really interested in seeing that as a really primary channel, and therefore wanting to know, how their email campaigns and sort of lists perform. Secondly, social media. Lots of firms doing it well, lots of firms just getting started, but people are really interested in understanding, publishing cadence, engagement, length, time of day, all of those sorts of things about how to engage with folk. And I think in particular, firms are now starting to invest in, dare I say, social media professionals. That's a change that I've seen. So rather than just being someone in marketing's job to do it, folk are now really investing in both professionals and the tools to do it. But the third area that's of interest has been around this thought leadership content. So because we can look at what people are writing about, how long it is, whether people are coming from certain places, how long they're staying, are they clicking and engaging, are they going on through your site? That's really powerful for lots of investment writers to understand how is their content around particular topics performing against other firms writing very similar things in the market.
So from an SEO perspective, you've seen your customers really kind of grab onto that information and try and drive their SEO strategy?
Yeah, there's a real move towards, and it's been going on for a while, to acting as publishers. So rather than just writers, writing about whatever they think might be important, it may well be, but moving towards a more publishing mindset of saying, what does the audience want to read about? What do we want to write about? What's the sort of intersection of that sort of great content that's going to engage?
Yeah. We like our publication also at WP Engine. We have Talk and we also have Velocitize. Yeah. This is part of that. And so we really rely on insights from SEO, what's happening in the market to really drive ours. So it's really interesting that Beacon handles that. So awesome, thank you.
So another interesting insight out of Beacon that we've noticed is despite all the focus that's been on mobile and responsive design, we still see a massive gap between website performance and our client sets between desktop and mobile. And we introduced this metric because we felt that as marketers, quite often you're doing a great job of building campaigns, generating engagement, getting them to come to your website, and then the problem is that once they land on the website, if it's a poor experience, then the chances of them sticking around the website and going through your journey is low. And obviously Google starts to increasingly penalise poor performing websites. So we measure site performance, we measure core web vitals, and we're just seeing such a gap between what people are achieving on their desktop, which tends to be not bad, and then their mobile site performance, which is incredibly slow. So what we're seeing is firms just not doing the work to make sure that their sites are optimized for mobile devices and delivering great performance across all sorts of devices.
Yeah. So do you see that that page speed as a really important metric when you think about the thought leadership as the example that your clients are putting out there, and ensuring that content experience is also one that's very fast?
Yeah, absolutely. And we see it in two areas, exactly as you've said, that it's around that thought leadership content. You've done a whole lot of work, you've promoted it on social, you've perhaps put some money behind it. You want them to have a great and responsive experience on your site. But also we see it just on landing pages in general. So as an industry, we're not particularly great at building landing pages. And quite often some of the challenges can be around the CMS that we're running on. If they're quite big, heavy CMSs, those landing pages don't tend to be sort of fast and responsive. So those are the two areas that we really see firms needing to focus on. One is the content experience when people land on it, and just campaign page speed so that you get that kind of snappy response when you click through.
As we move into 2023, where would you suggest or where would you recommend brands really focus their investment dollars for digital acceleration?
So as we look forward into 2023, I would say in some ways nothing changes, right? So we think about, and I think about in particular, brand being the sum of all the experiences that clients and prospects have, with your firm. And so it's still the foundations that need to be put in place. And we still see this in our industry, that folk are still investing in the tool sets, the people, the processes, the platforms to kind of deliver not just great marketing, great content, great experiences, maybe moving more in particular towards better segmentation and personalization. Mm-hmm. So lots of firms investing in the tool sets to kind of create that. But I think I did an outlook probably 2 years ago and said that it still comes down to the really boring stuff, like having clean data, having your CRM well set up, having a marketing technology stack that's thought through and connected and purposeful. And in some ways, to do all of the great marketing things you want to do, those are still the rudimentary elements that need to be in place.
Still need to invest there in order to gain acceleration, gain impact.
Yeah. And as I said before, I think thinking about headless as part of an overall kind of review of your technology stack. I mean, I'm a big fan of Scott Brinker, who does he's Chief Martech. He does the marketing landscape diagrams that show the thousands and thousands of applications available.
Remember those, yes.
Yeah, and one of the things he runs every year is the Stacky Awards, where and I don't know whether they're still running, but that was for firms to submit marketing technology stacks, so they're diagrams. And a lot of them are like crazy and wild and amazing. But they do serve a really practical purpose of making you put down on paper a coherent picture of how your technology stack fits together, how it works across the journeys and down through the front to the back end of your environments. And that's a really healthy process to go through.
Yeah, I love to kind of finish an interview where we talk about inspiration. So where do you, is there any tech trends that you're interested in at the moment that kind of get you moving in the morning?
So there's a couple of things. Mostly what I enjoy doing is bridging, marketing and technology. That's what I enjoy. I enjoy finding great technology tools, figuring out how they'll be working in marketing, and kind of working hard on adoption of those tools. So that's what I enjoy. I definitely enjoy the headless because it's come up several times now, and I just think that's such a great opportunity to explore. And my tip for an app at the moment, Sunsama.
Sunsama. And what?
Sunsama.com.
Okay,
it is a life-changing application that is all about getting you to focus on the things that you need to do today.
Oh,
so that's my tip. Go and look up Sunsama and have a go at it.
Awesome. Thank you so much. That was Andrew Scott from White Marble Consulting. Thank you so much.
My pleasure.